Do you guys ever feel like there's not enough time in your day to do the things that you want to do, to play games in your backlog, to work on projects and other things that you really want to do, spend time with friends and family? Yeah, because I struggle with that. I feel like a lot of people do too. Lately, I haven't been having a whole lot of time to really play a whole lot of video games. It's one of my well, it's my primary hobby, and fortunately, I have been able to beat some games in my backlog. I'm Metro Otaku Gamer. This is the Backlog Beatdown, a series where I cover games that I have recently played through in my backlog to try and whittle it down to where I got barely anything. I was going to have this be a series where I also cover games that I'm currently playing, but I want to stick to games that I have beaten. And today I have 5 games here that I have beaten recently, and all of these games don't even spend that much time to beat them. Like, one of these, it only takes like an hour to 2 hours to beat, and the rest of them, they're all like under 10 hours. And I've been noticing that I have been getting into a lot of these shorter games that are like 15 to 20 hours max for some of them, and then the rest of them are like all under 10 hours. So I got 5 incredible games to share with you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, you can let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing, and leave a comment down below. What are some games that you guys have recently beaten or are currently playing? And are they short games? Are they longer games? And how are you guys being able to find time to put some time into these games? The ones that I have here are ones that can easily be picked up and played for like a few minutes at a time until you beat them. So let's dive into the games that I have recently been playing. Well, recently beaten, to be more. So I want to start this off with a bit of a hidden gem on the Nintendo DS. This is an action RPG dungeon crawler known as From the Abyss. And out of the 5 games that I have here, this one I actually beat last month, and I've been saving it for the Backlog Beatdown. Now, From the Abyss is a action RPG dungeon crawler with kind of a roguelike or roguelite feel to it. The dungeons, the order of the dungeons do not change with every playthrough, but the layout of each of the different floors within the dungeons do change with every playthrough. Your character is a created character, and the character has a unique skill that will allow you to absorb other magic and skills from monsters that you defeat. I believe it's called Soul Capture. And there's also a co-op mode. You customize your own character. You can be male or female. You can use whatever weapons that you want. I went with like using a basic sword, and I had a male protagonist. This game can be beaten in well under 10 hours. I think it took me about just a little over 8 hours to beat this game. I don't really play a whole lot of these like randomly generated dungeon crawler type RPGs, but this was a game that caught my eye. I found it in Seattle about maybe a couple months ago, and I was super happy to have this. My copy, which you can see here, is super clean, and it's CIB. Really happy to have that. So from what I know is that you take the story takes place in this town, and this town is being overrun by these monsters that are coming from this area called the Abyss Gate, and you are sent in by the queen of this kingdom that the town is a part of in order to stop the monsters from coming through and taking over there's this character that kind of like guards the gate, and she will like help flesh out the story a little bit. It's a very basic story. There's nothing too deep, but what really had me hooked on this game was how every time you level up, you get these skill points that you can use in order to strengthen yourself. And by the time you're just like slaying monsters left and right, and you feel very powerful, and using the soul capture ability to gain different magic and offensive and even some defensive skills, as well as being able to heal yourself, you wind up just feeling like a complete badass by the end of the game. And it just like, it drew me in. I love action RPGs where you end up becoming like super strong by the end of the game, and you just feel like super powerful and nothing can stop you. And I know some people will probably find that to be kind of boring, like there's no real skill put into it. But if you haven't played From the Abyss, I highly recommend it. It is a bit of a pricey game. CIB goes for around 50 to 60, but I do feel like it is well worth it. It's fun. There's the replayability aspect of having it being randomly generated. The bosses are not randomly generated, but like your character build can be different with each playthrough, and the layout of each of the floors and each of the dungeons change with each playthrough. And I do feel like there is some replayability, and that's going to be a question that a lot of people will ask about certain games, is like, is it replayable? And I gotta say, yes, From the Abyss is replayable. So the next game I want to bring up is a shoot 'em up, and this is Gecko Shooting King. Now, it's funny because I just recently picked this up from Seattle not too long ago, and Gecko Shooting King is by Natsume. This is a lesser known shoot 'em up on the PlayStation 1. I don't really know if there is a story, but it was really fun, and something that made it felt very unique is that the difficulty changes depending on how well you play, and there are these like checkpoints in each of the levels. So when you die, you start back from whatever checkpoint you were at, which could either be the beginning of the level or at some point in the level. And if you keep on dying and over and over and over again, like I did, because I'm not well skilled with shoot 'em ups, even though I love playing them a lot. With Gecko Shooting King, I did feel like it started out okay, and then there were points where it got difficult, and I kept dying, but then it like adjusted the difficulty depending on my skill level. And I ended up making it to the final boss, and it was a lot of fun, and I could definitely see myself playing this game multiple times, because shoot 'em ups are like that. The replay value for these type of arcade style shooters is pretty high, because you always want to improve your score, improve your skill, go for that one credit clear, which I still have yet to do with a shoot 'em up. But Gecko Shooting King, I definitely am glad that I was able to pick it up. I'm hoping to complete my copy someday, because I just have it loose right now. But I'm really glad. I'm going to probably play this again sometime soon and try and work on improving my skill with it. So, next up, I have here a loose DS game. This is Mega Man ZX. This has actually been in my backlog for a long time. I originally played a Mega Man ZX back in like 2015, 2016 when I had a Nintendo 3DS for the first time, and I discovered Mega Man ZX, and it is a lot of fun. It is very Metroidvania, where you do have to go through go back to different areas once you obtain new powers, new transformations, beat all, and go through to unlock new areas and all that. Now, you play as either Vent or Ale. They are humans that are working for this transportation company led by a character named Jiro, and they are transporting these biometals, which are kind of loosely based off of legendary heroes from the past. The original two being Model X and Model Z, which is based off of Mega Man X and Zero, because this is a follow-up to the Mega Man Zero series from the GBA, and that is a follow-up from the Mega Man X series that ended on the PlayStation 2. And Mega Man ZX, you can transform into different biometal models that you obtain, and you're trying to stop Slither Inc.'s leader Serpent from obtaining the core of Model W, which he's going to use in order to take over the world. And it is a lot of fun. This is my second or third favorite Mega Man game next to Mega Man X8 and Legends. I absolutely love ZX, and I cannot wait to play ZX Advent. I've never played that one. I did play some of the Zero series, and those are also very Metroidvania-like, with some light RPG elements in it, but they are more action, platformer, Metroidvania-style Mega Man games. And if you haven't played these, you can get the Legacy Collection that has all four of the Zero games, as well as both of the ZX games. But I'm really happy that I have it here for Nintendo DS. This game I beat sometime within the last week, and I gotta say, even though I was playing it on easy mode, it still gave me a bit of a challenge. The final boss, I think I had tried 10 times before I finally figured out and was able to beat it, and I was blown away. This game is going to be one of my all-time favorites. Well, actually, it is one of my all-time favorites. I love this game so much. I love the art style. One of my favorite transformations was the biometal that turned Vent, because I played as Vent, and I could go back and do another playthrough where I play as Ale. Now, Vent is male, Ale is female, so it's nice that they have those options. You could play either as a male or female in this game, and the story doesn't really change. It's just your transformations will look slightly different, but there's one biometal that turned you into an underwater warrior. I forget which model that was off the top of my head, but that was one of my favorites. And all the different biometal models that you obtain for the transformations all have their different strengths and weaknesses. But if you are playing it on easy mode, you can basically just cheese through the whole game as the base model, which eventually becomes Model ZX, which is a fusion of Mega Man X and Zero, essentially. And if you haven't played a Mega Man ZX, I do highly recommend it. It is an amazing game. You can beat it in under 10 hours. I think it took me about 6.5 in order to beat it. And there's still some more content in the game. There's an optional boss fight where you can obtain a biometal transformation that will essentially allow you to cheese through the entire game with ease. So, yeah, I really, really loved Mega Man ZX. And then next up, I have another DS game here. If you could see that, this is Kirby Squeak Squad, which is another platformer. And it's kind of the majority of the types of games that I've been playing recently. Been getting back into some platformers. And Kirby Squeak Squad is another game that I recently picked up, and I played through it. Took me a few hours to beat it. I will say, after the second boss fight, the third boss fight, which surprisingly is the only boss in the game to have 2 phases to it. Because technically the final boss doesn't really have multiple phases. There's like the final level has you fight the one boss fight, and then there's some platforming segments, and then the actual true final boss. But I will say the bosses in this game were quite challenging after the second boss fight. But the rest of the game, it's your typical Kirby game. Now, Kirby is set off on this adventure because he was trying to eat some strawberry shortcake, and these mice that are part of this group called the Squeak Squad, hence the name. Or I don't think that's the official name. I'm just gonna call them the Squeak Squad just for the fun of it. But yeah, they steal his cake and they lock it in a chest, and he goes after them. He initially accuses King Dedede, and that's why King Dedede acts as like the first boss in the game, which Kirby literally just rolled up on his castle, throwing hands for no reason. King Dedede was just minding his own business, so that's kind of funny that Kirby goes a little bit unhinged there. But then the rest of it is like your basic Kirby platformer adventure. Really fun. I love playing the Kirby games. I will say probably the best one of them all is Kirby Planet Robobot for the 3DS. And then probably Kirby's Return to Dreamland or Triple Deluxe would be up there. But Kirby Squeak Squad is definitely up there for me within like my top 5 Kirby games of all time. Really fun 2D side-scrolling platformer. There's some other games like Kirby Mass Attack, Kirby Canvas Curse, and a few others that I really want to get to, but I'm really happy that I got Kirby Squeak Squad so I could play through it. And then lastly, I want to end this on one of my favorite 3D platformers for the PlayStation 2. And even though this game made me rage a few times, that is Pac-Man World 2. A game that I grew up with, that I absolutely enjoy. It's my favorite of the Pac-Man World trilogy, with Pac-Man World 3 coming in at a close second. And Pac-Man World 2 has a very iconic soundtrack. Now, you play as Pac-Man, obviously, and he is going after the golden fruits so he can seal away the main bad guy, who is a extremely dangerous and powerful ghost named Spooky. And what makes this game so much fun is that it just feels very nostalgic to play. There's really fun level layouts, even though they can be kind of difficult at times. The last few boss fights of the game, including Spooky himself, were quite difficult. I know the volcano area was like, it's notorious for being one of the hardest areas in the game to go through, and fighting the boss of that area is like one of the hardest for absolutely no reason whatsoever. But yeah, Pac-Man World 2, absolutely amazing game. Don't really know much else that I could say about it, because it is a 3D platformer. It's a lot of fun. There's mazes, like classic Pac-Man style mazes, in order to obtain the Galaxian fruit. You go through the mazes, and they're a lot of fun. You can also unlock some of the older arcade Pac-Man games, like Pac-Man the original and Pac-Attack, by collecting these coins throughout all the different levels. So there's some unlockables to obtain, and you can go in and spend hours just playing through the arcade games that you can unlock. And just overall, I also highly recommend it if you haven't played Pac-Man World 2. So with that, that's it. Those are 5 games that I have recently beaten. There's a few others that I also recently beaten that I left out. Like, I did also beat The Adventures of Elliot the Millennium Tales, but that has its own separate video. I did a review of that, so you can check that out. It is on my channel if you want to check that out, or I could leave a link to that video in the description down below. So with that, I'm Mecha Otaku Gamer, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.